Okay. Hello, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I'm Richard Pluim, and here with Matthew Reidy.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, particularly those on the East Coast. We know it's late for you. Thank you so much. So, yeah, so Matt and I are just going to have a little bit of a director's talk, sharing a little bit about the process, because Matt obviously was the star of Scourged, so he worked on both projects. And then everyone, I can see the chats. Thank you, Marissa, Will, for the congratulations, Baron and Sam. Thank you all. So anyone tuning in live, you can ask any questions you would like, or any comments, anything that you, as though we were all in a theater space. And then I will read the questions to us so that we someone's looping. Interesting. Okay, let me know if it stops in a minute, Marissa, please. But for now, let's start with Matt. Tell us about the beginning of The Broken Places. What kind of was the entry point
Absolutely
for King Lear with this?
Okay. Last year, pre-pandemic, we were scheduled to do King Lear last summer. Pre-pandemic, our director, Baron Kelly, we had a quick phone call and he said to me, Matt, take a look at Lewy body dementia. And as soon as he said it, and I'm getting them right now, I got like chills because it just makes a lot of sense. I knew a couple of people that unfortunately were afflicted with these. And then there's some famous people that had the disease. But I think that in reading and rereading King Lear, there's certain parts of the script where things like hallucinations of people and small animals, which is very common with people with Lewy body dementia. Also, people that have that disease also have some Parkinson's symptoms. So anyway, after Baron mentioned that, I started to relook at the script. And then when we knew that we wouldn't be able to perform last summer, it was always in my mind that, I wanted to focus on those aspects. And when the idea was brought up by you and Linda and Baron, let's shoot some films, I thought it would be a great way to explore that aspect of King Lear and that disease. So that's what I thought about, and that's what came out.
Awesome. Okay, so a few chats here. I'm just making sure. So Marissa said that the looping went away, so thank you for filling me in on that. Anyone, please let us know if something else goes on. Kathy Dunn, who played Reagan in Scourged, says great work filming and putting the story together. Thank you. Yes. Black Stallion Estate, amazing job. The acting was superb. I have to say, I agree. It's Mel, great work, everyone. Awesome. So when you were kind of re-going through the script to kind of do this investigation, what was the first line that kind of popped up to you, or the first scene or the first moment for Lear that said, oh, this is, let's start here?
I think that it was, and it may not be the first time in the script, but when I was reading when Lear and Gloucester together, and then Lear sees a mouse and he wants to feed the mouse. And it's quite common with Lewy body dementia that patients see small animals, okay, and people, okay. That was one of the occurrences. So earlier on, Lear doesn't know who his daughters are. Are you my daughter? what's your name? That kind of thing. And that's common with people with that disease and also other forms of dementia. So, yeah, so I looked at it that way. I looked at it differently. Yeah.
Nice. Baron's asking kind of on that note, what was the challenge of the physicality?
Great question, Baron. Thank you. I think the challenge for me is to keep it contained. And although you don't have control over the symptoms a lot of times, from what I understand, but people that are aware 90% of what's going on, they try to control the symptoms. So the shaking, the hand shaking, or try to control what they see or what they hear. And so that was the challenge that I had doing some of the scenes, walking with some shaking, or actually seeing my daughter in different situations that weren't real, is not making it too over the top, for lack of a better term, but that one of the insidious parts of dementia, I can imagine, is that a large part of you knows that something is wrong, and you try everything you can to make it not happen. So I tried to keep that throughout, that I know that there's something wrong, and I'm going to do my best to keep it contained. So great question, Baron. How are you? Nice. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes. Yeah. And so Rob asked, what was the process of adapting the text for the films? Cool. So I'll talk a little bit about Scourged with that. I don't know. I knew that I wanted to sort of let the piece be a mosaic of the text, because I wouldn't be able to do the whole story. And it kind of, I just went with what was available to me, shooting during all of the closures of last year. So I thought, okay, who can I work with, and where can I work? And so from there, I went through the text and thought, okay, like which scenes kind of jump out, and it kind of quickly became, oh, how can I use nature? And I was particularly interested in the eclipse. So Glasser, talks about the eclipses, and everything that's supposed to happen because of that. And I thought, oh, like what if everything was just a result of the eclipse? So we just kind of see how people are scourged by the sequent effects, as the text says. So like how can I just show who gets injured within the confines of logistics and time and availability of actors? So that was kind of the beginning. And from there, I just began to shoot. Some things got cut, some things changed completely. And in the end, it was what we all saw tonight. Let's see, what else here? Congrats, great work with the film. Have you thought about submitting these to festivals? Yes. Yeah, there are a couple of changes I think I'd like to make. But yeah, they will be submitted. Linda's here. Hey, Linda, artistic director. Thank you for letting the Shakespeare Festival Guild, produce these. It was a wonderful opportunity. Cool. So I don't know, let's talk about days from the shoot I'm just stalling for questions. So if you guys ask questions, they trump what I have to say. What are some of your favorite memories from this shoot, Matt, from either shoot, since you were on both?
Hey, from Scourged, when we went in the tunnel, and I'm not sure still exactly where that's located, but I did see the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in the distance.
Yes.
So we're pretty close to Pasadena, but at any rate, that was an amazing location, how you found that. And, you know, I just have to tell everybody that the bars, the door, that would not open. So Richard, I wouldn't have been able to fit in between those bars, okay? But Richard was able to. And so he went inside with the camera and had some amazing shots on the inside. That's number one. Number two, there was like a natural echo effect that was in there.
Yes.
And
yeah, that was
so
live. Yeah.
that because that I think worked really well. So I love that location. And, you know, we're out there it's a pandemic, a stay at home, and there's nobody there. So it was very interesting and a little freaky.
Although we did see our cowboy on the horse. So those of you at home,
Yes.
Matt and I have an affinity for the film Chinatown. We've watched it. We always come back to it every couple of years. We'll rewatch it. And so when we were shooting, we actually saw like a cowboy caballero like riding on a horse like, right through the tunnel where Lear's first through, not the lockout tunnel, but the very first tunnel where he's pushed through by the guard. And so that was really awesome to be in Los Angeles and to be like, oh wow, like we should like this is like we're being blessed by the film gods because we got this shot from Chinatown.
Right. That moment when he came by on the horse, and then you and I looked at each other and didn't say anything for about 30 seconds. And I knew that we were thinking the same thing. Right.
Yes. It was like, should we be rolling the camera? Let's see. So Rob's asking about the location scouting. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So what was the process for location scouting? So I'll just start with that place. I wanted to sort of create the effect of an estate, a grand estate that would be the palace or Regan Goneril's place. And so I wanted a gate. And I thought, okay, so where can I get this gate? And the first thing that I thought of was the Getty Villa, but they're closed and also probably don't care about Richard and his little film. So I just Googled best gates in Los Angeles and looked through, and then I found the location that we used, which is called Devil's Gate. And so I saw it online. I said, okay, this is great. And so I went to look at it, and it's near the Rose Bowl. There's the artistic director, Linda Bassesi Reidy. Yeah, and so I went, and there was a beautiful gate. It actually had a ton of graffiti on it, and I wasn't really into that, but I thought whatever, we'll go with it. And then on the day, they cleaned up all the graffiti, so that was cleaned up. The last scene with Gloucester and Lear, that was at Castaic Lake. And for that scene, I honestly was wanting to go further out into the desert, like way out to Red Rock Canyon State Park, which would have been a 2.5 to 3 hour drive each way from Los Angeles. And so it just seemed kind of far, particularly since we are in a pandemic. So I couldn't just drive us all. We'd have to each be in our cars. I thought, I can't have these guys driving that far. So I was like, I just kind of put it on the table. And then one day went to Castaic Lake. Just on a Sunday, I wanted to get out of town. And I saw that tree with the roots, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. And it was a lot closer for us all to drive to, and that was it. Yeah, exactly. The crazy tree, all of the twisted roots. I kind of, in retrospect, wish that I did some more close-ups and played with it for some inserts. Yes, I'm looking through the chat. So that's kind of how the location scouting went. It was just kind of by necessity. The beginning montage for Scourged was in Silver Lake. There were a couple of shots that I envisioned with Edgar. There's this little bridge near where I live, and I had like one of the first visions I thought was, okay, so we're on the bridge looking down at this street that looks kind of crappy, and I want Edgar to cross the street in his underwear. and then it just didn't work out, or I just didn't really want to be in my underwear, I guess. So, but we just shot around it. So the locations just kind of popped up for me. Yeah. Matt, how did locations play a part in your piece?
Well, I had 2 locations, my place and then a cemetery. The cemetery is located in West Los Angeles. I drive by it. I know that there's access. You can just pull in. So that was the time that Linda was with me. And I got out of the car with my crown, and I made sure there were no people around I didn't want to disrespect. So we did it quickly. We did 2 takes at the cemetery. But the rest, since, I knew that everything would be in King Lear's mind, or lack of mind, or where it's being broken. I knew that everything starts in that chair. And so
Yes.
I just kept it out there. I kept an eye on the weather. I knew that there was a storm coming one week, and I kept an eye on it, and I knew when it was going to start raining. I checked the radar, and when I did that scene at night, I was a little late setting up because the wind was really blowing like a half hour earlier. Would have made the line rage blow a lot better than it was, but because I was late, I just had rain. So, but I'm very happy. The cats hid under the deck. The ones on the inside, they scattered. So so 2 locations there.
Okay, awesome. Grace asks, how long was the process of the film? How long was the whole process? So I'll let you go for it with the broken places.
I think a total time, not including writing it, it's all, the dialogue is all out of King Lear, but putting the scenes together, it didn't take very long. I think the filming took different times, 4 weeks, but not, an hour here, 2 hours there, every 3rd or 4th day. So I'm sure everything could have been shot in 1 day, but I chose just to take my time with it and do it that way. Yeah. How about you, Richard?
Nice. Yeah. So really quick, a couple of asides.
Okay.
Joseph Reidy, who I believe is your brother, said your place played at least 5 places. So not just 2 locations. He said at least 5. So, and I'd agree. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't disagree with Joe on that.
Awesome. For me, it took a bit longer. The adaptation came pretty quickly because, again, as you said, it was just King Lear. So it was like, which bits do I want to do, and how can I just kind of weave them in some way that feels right. The first thing we shot, I think, was the chess scene with King Lear dividing up the kingdom, and that was early last summer. Yeah, and then for me, it was a bit more piecemeal. I don't even remember what was shot. Probably it was Devil's Gate. For me, it was a bit more spread out. One of the last days was the Castaic Lake, and that was in January. And then I did some pickups since then. So for me, the shooting was kind of sporadic from summer till January. The editing didn't take too long. I kind of would edit after the shoot day. So I'd go, okay, now I have this chunk. All right, now I have this chunk. And then once I had all the chunks, then the play and the edit began. So 7 months, I guess. What are some lines or passages of that? This is from Rob. What are some of the lines or passages that stand out to you that have a newfound appreciation after doing these films? All right, I'll start. A new family. Well, I think for me, the line, Cordelia's line, so young, my lord and true. So King Lear's dividing up the kingdom. This would be the chess scene in Scourged. He says, so young and so untender. And then so I kind of wanted to give Cordelia that line, even though she was a chess piece. So that's why we kind of stayed on her. And so for me, I picture that line, so young, my lord and true, just in that kind of slow push. Yeah, and there's just that line kind of has always resonated for me. I think another one actually is from the Broken Places, from watching that, when Lear says, stay a little, again to Cordelia. And that's the last line of the Broken Places. I just thought that was fantastic. I think that's my favorite line in the whole Shakespeare canon is stay a little. Like, it's just so simple and everything. Yeah. What are some lines that you like now, or that kind of pop out with you?
That's a great one. Stay a little. I think I had found new appreciation of, it's coming to me now. With the red light, how now, are the horses ready?
Yeah.
And Lear doesn't know. I don't think Lear knows who he's talking to, and he says, "Are you my daughter?" And so he doesn't know if it's really his daughter he's talking to. Is it Goneril or Regan? I'm pretty sure it's not Cordelia. Or is he talking to Kent, or is he talking to Oswald? It resonated with me because he really he misses her already. So
yes,
I don't know if that makes sense. He misses her already.
Yes. Oh, Linda says, I like my line, in the heat. In the heat. We must do something. And in the heat. Get Lear out of my house. Yeah. I love that too. Yeah, that was a fun play too, with the two sisters and with Regan, played by Kathy Dunn. It's just the contrast of them two. Yeah, I love that moment. It was another fun shooting out on the deck. All right. Derek asks, what was the crew size on each film? Oh, this is a great question. What was the crew size on each film? Also, what type of cameras were used? Love the camera work, cinematography. Thank you very much. Yeah, for the Broken Places, what was the crew size?
Crew size one. Right here. Crew size. The cemetery scene, 2. Myself and Linda. The camera was Sony A6600.
Yes.
And a couple of scenes, or a couple of shots rather. It's an iPhone 11 is what I have here.
Yes.
Really good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so the same. Yeah, the Canon A6600. It's a nice mirrorless camera. Yeah, I think it's a fabulous camera. I think it's kind of, well, it's perfect for filming theater, and it's a nice beginning camera for independent film. If you have bright lenses, and we have a couple of decent lenses. I also used the iPhone 11 for a couple of shots. Yeah, the iPhone 11 can shoot in 4K. So there you go. The crew size for Scourged was 1. Yeah, I was behind the camera. Mostly it was natural light, but a couple of scenes had some light, and I just did the best I could with that. I appreciate light. I am by no means an expert at it, but I enjoy it. And then the scenes that are Edgar in the beginning, I had a tripod, or otherwise it was handheld. Yes, yeah, Linda helped with the one scene. Yeah, she gets partial DP credit. Yes. All right. So yeah. So that's that. The one-man bands. Julian, who played the fool. Well done. Good work. For both directors, were there any lines or passages from King Lear that you wish you could have used, but ultimately did not fit in the final cut? Well, I mean, I can say this. The whole beginning montage for Scourged was originally supposed to be a totally different scene. I envisioned this scene with two tailors that were suiting up Edgar. And so while the two were talking about all like these eclipses portend no good to us, bonds cracked betwixt son and father, like all of this prophecy stuff was to be the two tailors outfitting. Did I say Edgar? I meant to say Edmund. And then Edmund comes out and says, "Oh, like forget all that in nature without my gods." He has another text, another passage that I don't know, where he kind of just scoffs. I would be that I am would, where however I was born. And so that was him kind of suiting up and to show his journey from being just the sad little kind of stepchild bastard that was bringing everybody steaks to being like, now I'm in charge. Due to just logistical reasons, it just I couldn't find a space that I was satisfied with, and the scheduling was tough. So I said, how can I salvage that text? And then the montage came. So I'd say that scene. So then I could have used that nice chunk from Edmund. Yeah. What about you, Matt? Anything that you wish would be in the cut?
No, I think that the storm in Lear lasts a long time. I mean, there's several scenes in the storm, and it's actually trying to select the ones where at least I felt that Lear is in his head more, and when he's actually talking to the elements, talking to the thunder, would work better with the Lear in the green chair, imagining it, as opposed to when he's out in the storm with the other characters who are actually there or he thinks are there. So no, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot that, but it was over 20 minutes, so I had to limit things. So great question, Julian. Thank you.
Yes. So let's see. Let me go through this.
And thank you again, everyone, for watching these. We really
thank you. Yes, and for being here now on a Sunday night, it's much appreciated.
Right.
Kathy asked, was the original music in the film? No, I have a subscription to a forum where musicians put out music, and they're paid like as you license the songs, so you can listen to music from a lot of artists, and you kind of go through a form where my monthly subscription pays the artist, and so by the amount of clicks that they get paid for their music, and then I get a license for it, so YouTube won't shut me down, and that's that. I wasn't able to work with musicians on this one. How did you select the music for the Broken Places?
Well, there's no music. Those are all sound effects cues, including the one that I really like. It sounds like a choir. Sounds kind of religious, like you're in a church or temple. That's an actual sound cue that is on Final Cut. So I didn't take any music. I was going to with your suggestion, but I just thought that I was going to leave music out.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess let's see. It's been about a half hour. Feel free. Any last questions, folks? Otherwise, I guess let's end with this. This summer we are doing a production that will be online and filmed, but I think more theatrical or more theater-like a bit. will be directed by Dr. Baron Kelly, who's here watching. After having done these two projects, Matt, what insights have you gained that you look forward to bringing into the upcoming production?
That it can be theatrical, but a lot of times, if you just think the thought, the camera will pick it up. But the the text is, for me, is the most important thing. Everything is there. Everything comes out of that, and I'm really looking forward to this summer and to see how it progresses from now until August. Yeah. So how about yourself?
Nice. I think so. I will be playing Edgar this summer, and what I'm looking forward to most is his kind of transformation into poor Tom. And I'm interested in exploring whether or not Edgar kind of holds on to this former identity of being Edgar, and I'm just playing this role for my safety, or whether he, to a degree, kind of abandons that former self and just is poor Tom. It's like what's kind of the line there. I think that's what I'm interested in exploring.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone so much for tuning in tonight on a Sunday night.
Thank
Very
you,
much
everyone.
appreciated. Congratulations, Matt, on the Broken Places and on your performance in Scourged. Yes, and so yeah, everyone, please thank from the artistic director in the chat. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. This is where we will put up the new King Lear. In the corner there is our Instagram, also where we update and post regularly. We have a production of Romeo and Juliet coming up this April, and then a production of The Tempest also coming up in June. King Lear, I think, will release a little bit later in the summer, but plenty of good stuff. So please subscribe and like and chat and stay linked, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good night.
See you. Bye.